All right, welcome to Matters Arising. Peter Obi continues his stride over Abuja on local council elections. Atiku also took a swipe at the Senate on the electoral amendment where no amendment actually emanated from. The only amendment the people wanted was mandatory electronic transmission of results at a real-time basis. As we do them, we go dey see them. That was all Nigerians wanted. And opposition voices have come together to say, no, we don't want this. But it's not about voice. Maybe they need to do more than voice. Hello, guys.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Yeah. Philip, let me hear from you. Obi continues his stride. Today he was in Danes and everywhere was agog. Everywhere he goes, people follow him. Our votes following him in that way. Do you see the votes coming in to transcend for ADC because of Obi's monumental stride on pulling crowds together?
You see, the truth remains that Nigeria is no longer a normal country with a normal democratic practice. If we're to be so, Obi, monumental move in Abuja would have been said to be attracting votes to the ADC and the ADC candidate for the unpack election. But the reverse is the case here, because it appears that Obi is asserting his energy where it's not necessary at the moment. Because what is necessary at the moment is to ensure a free and fair election. And that is not in sight at the moment with what happened at the Senate yesterday, and you just mentioned it, that Nigeria were expecting an amendment to the Electoral Act of 2022 to include a mandatory transmission of election results at real time, but that never happened at the Senate. Though the House of Rep did pass it to be mandatory, the Senate, which is her upper chamber, refused to amend the Constitution to say so. And the president of the Senate said the reason why they didn't allow that, it will cause a traffic jam in the internet. Therefore,
India has
well, you see, don't go too far. In this country, people transfer money. Over 1 million people transfer money at a go from their account to different accounts.
Not in jams.
They are not in jams, and they get result. Why would Akpabio, the president of the Nigerian Senate, thinks that if there is a mandatory transmission of result, there will be a jam in the airspace that the result will not get to the server? So Obi effort so far to campaign from street to street, from door to door, to ensure that the ADC candidate is loved by the people of Abuja City, it will amount to nothing if the electoral process is not, problem issue are not tackled.
All right, we're looking at what might be an encumbrance to victory for ADC in Abuja, in spite of Obi's monumental followership. Anywhere he goes, the crowd is like empty, and everywhere you go, you see him. So, but a lot of people have certain advocacy that not all those people you see in the crowd have PVC. That's number one. A lot of them, most people that live in Abuja also vote in their villages. But because they love Obi, anywhere Obi is, you see them around him. That crowd should not be, you won't see, after looking at that crowd, don't just say, oh, ADC has won. That is, it doesn't have a direct translation to vote, even though there was a free and fair election. That's an argument. The second one is that Obi himself is not on ballot. That these people are like Obi's stooge or followers or associates, that they don't have the same characteristics like Obi. That once Obi is not on ballot, the way people vote is usually different. You saw what happened in Anambra state election. Obi even lost his polling unit. I can assure that if Obi was on ballot, that will not happen. That might be issue. Then two, because Obi also won Asiwaju in the federal election in 2023 here, that this time APC might throw up certain other strategies to ensure it doesn't happen, especially AMAC, because AMAC is landlord to the Aso Rock, AMAC is landlord to National Assembly, AMAC is landlord to the Supreme Court. So that they wouldn't want to see opposition controlling where they are, especially when we know the APC that we are dealing with.
Well, in this era of Amupiton, you can put up statements and say this was going to happen. That's number one. Number two, the FCT, for example, is like the operating room of how things is going to play out on the larger scale. Yeah. So the ruling party are supposed to make sure they tell a narrative. Now, if you look at it very well, you are not hearing their voice in campaigns and making of statements. From the antecedent we know of the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, he has his own ways always planned out. I hope he's not planning the other way. Then thirdly, we also look at the voters in the Federal Capital Territory. The voters here are quite enlightened. Yeah. Very, very enlightened. Yeah. Then fourthly, you look at also the voters here, what they do. They make sure because of their enlightenment, they make sure they vote something or someone that will hurt the party, the ruling party. I don't know if you understand.
No.
For example, if you take antecedent from
I can tell you, I know what you're saying here.
Do you understand?
The ruling party never really wins Abuja.
Exactly. Except they have decided that they must take these votes and give it to the ruling party so that APC will be here. But I can tell you that if they allow things...
You think they're going to do anything like that?
Yes, I think so. I think so. I mean, I think so that they won't allow it to go free. They won't allow the opposition to take over Abuja, because you see, it's going to snowball if the opposition takes Abuja. We say the fight has started. It's just like when you get off midterm election and along the line, maybe the Democrats, for example, seizes the Senate. Everybody say, oh, the Democrats are coming, or the Republicans are coming. So this time it's not about candidates, it's about power. It's about power. Who rules this power? I wish the people here. Now there's something you ask that a lot of voters here, they are not registered here. I don't think so. The last 2023 election, what I saw with my eyes, people stood at the police station, mammoth crowd. In fact, people went to go and rent hotels close to their police station, so that they can vote, because of a movement that is being restrained, so that they can vote. Now, if we take it to the height, which I think the opposition should take it to that height, we could see a twist in so many things.
A twist.
Yes.
So we are expecting a twist, Philip. We are looking at the competence of people. Has the current AMAC chairman performed?
The current INEC chairman.
AMAC chairman. I'm leaving all other councils.
Okay,
AMAC in particular.
If he has performed, well, it had to do with the yardstick. The man performer cannot be seen or fed in any way because, like you said, this is the
Federal Capital
Territory. It is a home to all the embassies, the seat of power, the seat of the judiciary, and the seat of the legislature. And the FCDA and FCTA, they are almost directly in charge of
their own programs,
everything that is going on. So whether the AMAC chairman is working or not, it's not even known. The only thing we know that he's doing is to collect tenement rate and to collect more money from everybody that are doing little business.
Let me jump into that one. It's very simple of us to know if the AMAC chairman or any of the area councils chairman,
especially AMAC.
Let's put AMAC on the front border. Now, primary health care is their responsibility. Primary education is their responsibility. These 2 yardsticks alone, let's look at how they have done in primary health care. Have there been an improvement in any of the primary health care around us?
Remember, you and I went for one graduation ceremony in somewhere in Kabusa, and the school was in a terrible mess. The school was in a terrible mess.
Then local roads belongs to the AMAC. What have they done with the roads? Most of those roads they budgeted money for them, they collected the money, but the road has still been.
That's why there's an election for the people to decide on how to go.
So that we will tell the people how to rate whether the AMAC person is performing or not.
Okay, Atiku slammed the Senate, but I'm yet to hear the sound of too many other people. I'm expecting to also do same. That the Senate, the amendment that is so important to the people, they didn't attend to it. Yet they will not call this Electoral Act 2022 as amended. As amended for who? As amended for the senators? or as amended for Nigerian people? Because the only one thing Nigerian people asked for was denied.
So Atiku, whether we like it or not, like you said in the morning, is the only person who went to court 6 times against his principal.
Yes.
Just to ensure that democracy is deepened and it survives.
Yeah.
And the man has been in the forefront to contest for the presidency. Whether we like it or not, Atiku is a Democrat.
No, certainly.
And he has shown that, yes, he's a Democrat. And at this time, this is the first time ever that Atiku lost election, and he remains in this country and is contributing to issues that affect the lives of Nigerians. Kudos to him, he has done well. That's why I said in my opening speech that Obi is asserting energy where it is not necessary at the moment. That what is important, most important now, is how to ensure that the law,
our vote counts.
That the law that we guide the election, we ensure that our election will be free and fair. And that's what happened in the Senate yesterday. That is most paramount. But it seems not to be aware of the animosity of the rejection of that particular clause in the electoral act to say that the electoral result should not be transmitted electronically. He is busy campaigning for local government election that will not amount to anything. So that is why, in this regard, we should give kudos to Atiku, who knows what to do.
All right, when it comes to fighting for democracy, we talked about it in the morning. You know, a lot of people would not remember that Atiku's security, even as a vice president, was withdrawn at a point. You know, people wouldn't even remember, to show how far he went, you know, trying to ensure there's democracy. And he also fought against the third-term agenda vehemently. This time around, like he said, is in Nigeria. Should it be only Atiku or a combined voices of opposition leaders like Kwankwaso, Peter Obi, maybe Kachiku, at least all these people that contested as president in the last election and are still indicating interest either to contest as president or vice president, amalgamating all their interests and coordinating their followers to put their online energy into on-ground energy, such that they can go and occupy the Senate. Whatever you fight for, you demand peacefully, you get it.
Now, I don't know really why, and this quite frankly, why you are giving a lot of kudos to Atiku. Atiku fought for his life during Obasanjo's rule. It meant if he will die or if he will survive. Yeah. And he needed to survive for tomorrow. That's why he fought like the way he fought during Obasanjo's period. If he died at that time, Atiku was finished. That was 20-something years ago, or thereabout. Yeah. So he fought that way. But we have not seen him
would have killed him?
Of course, Obasanjo.
So if the VP fought prevent the president from killing him, he has fought for democracy.
Well, for himself, first of all.
No, not for the nation. Because let me tell you, Obasanjo is very healthy. Hold on.
I agree.
Hold on. If Obasanjo, if Totem has succeeded,
yes.
If Totem has succeeded, yes. There'll be 4 them. There'll be 50. Have you seen Obasanjo recently? He's stronger than me. Obasanjo will still be president right now.
He did fight.
Yarada wouldn't have been president.
He did fight
alone. wouldn't have been president.
He did fight alone.
Swati wouldn't have been president.
Hold on now.
Jonathan wouldn't have been president.
Atiku didn't fight alone.
Of course,
there were other democratic principles and people that came in. So let me go on from there. Now, why is the Atiku? First of all, look at it. When the call for this came up, electronic transmission of result, where was Atiku's voice? How loud was he? How did they march to the Senate?
No, do you think? Did you think all the opposition leaders should come?
I'm starting with Atiku
and demand. No, come together, join force at this time. Now, let me tell you, voting is not a party thing. Voting is not a candidate thing. Mandatory electronic transmission of results is a democracy thing.
Okay, but hold on now. You started with Atiku.
Yeah.
So I'm transiting from Atiku.
Because he has the one that has made statement that I've seen.
That's why we are talking about him.
Should other people join voices?
Hold on. I'm going to come to what he said about Peter Obi. If Atiku, right now he's speaking, you see, for example, somebody is sick, you take the person to the hospital, or you leave the person at home. You left the person at home when he was sick. You are not, the person is not dying, you are taking the person to the hospital.
Can I say something?
No, hold on now. Let me finish. You asked me a question, let me finish.
Okay.
You take now you are at the point of death or almost dead. You are not taking the person to the hospital. Atiku is taking the thing to the hospital when the thing is already dead. What he would have done, hold on now, let me finish. What he would have done was that at the beginning of when this matter came up, Atiku would have picked it up with every other person. All of them, with the exception of none of them, did not give good attention to the call for electronic transmission.
All right, Peter, do you think, Philip, rather, do you think all other opposition leaders should galvanize with Atiku? Because one, he said the bill, when the person was sick, he was not attended to. It's only when the person died. Unfortunately, the person wasn't sick because House of Representatives passed the mandatory electronic transmission of result. Till yesterday, that bill was alive. There is no way anybody would have known that, having passed through successfully at the lower house, where we have many people representing several constituencies. Nobody believed that 109 district representatives, 3 from each state, one from Abuja, 109 senators, by any means, whether by majority or minority or unanimously, we killed what people who are representing the constituency has said we wanted. So the bill wasn't sick, it was actually alive. That was how I was trying to get him to know. Now that they eventually killed it as it is, you think other opposition leaders should come together, carry their followers, move from online presence and online abuse of people into on-ground demand, including us, everybody, all Nigerians, because this issue is not a Obi thing, it's not Atiku thing, it's not Kwankwaso thing, it's not even an Anadi thing or Abure thing or even Akpabio thing. It is for our democracy.
Very well. You see, that's exactly what we are doing here. We are lending our voice to the fact that, look, the Senate, we will not accept what we have just done. You see, the opposition is already doing that. You know, there are ways they do things in a civilized manner. You know, the opposition, the opposition party came together and issued a joint statement in a press conference, duly signed by the publicity secretary of the People Democratic Party, the African Democratic Congress, and the National Nigerian People Party, NPP, to say that, look, we reject Senate rejection of mandatory transmission electronically of result, that clause to be imputed as passed by the House of Rep, and that's the way to go. You see, that's the first step to go to the next step. They have acted in civic way, in a civilized way, notifying the Senate and the government that, look, this your action is not acceptable to the people as represented by the opposition party. If the Nigerian government, led by the APC and the Senate, there are people who are listening here because they said this democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. If they will listen to the voice of the people, they need to go back because there's still room, because they need to harmonize what they passed with the one of House of Rep. They, at that point, they could rectify whatever they need to be. But if they decide to keep that here, and they send the bill to Mr. President, and Mr. President assent to it, it shows that they've got the people's buff, and whatever that will happen thereafter will not be palatable to the.
All right, let me come. Do you think Nigerians are very docile people? We
didn't used to be docile. We were made docile.
We were made docile. So, and now we are so slow.
The APC government made us so
we are so slow. We are so slow now.
Nigerians used to be the fastest African black human race.
But we are really slow at this time. But do you think this particular matter can test our limits?
No. I don't think we are ready. I think we are already conquered. If we were not conquered, from when they were going from one zone to the other, the politicians, the opposition should have gone to the zone and meet with the House of Rep and House of Senate and make sure they put those inputs there. It would have been louder than that.
All right, we are conquered people as it is. Let us see whether, as conquered as we are, if there's going to be victory for the people someday.